Hello, this is Bryan, Wroten, senior reporter for Hotel News Now. I'm here with my colleague Terence Baker, news editor for EMEA. Terry, we are wrapping up the second day of the International Hospitality Investment Forum (EMEA) here in Berlin. Still got stuff going on tomorrow morning, but as we're closing out day two, what are your thoughts? What's your impression from this year's conference?
It is optimistic, Brian. Definitely there's a lot of opportunity throughout Europe. It might be even heading a little east into Central Europe, but the big gateway cities in France, in Spain, in London, in United Kingdom, all doing very well and will continue doing well. This is the 12th year I've been to IHIF, and it also probably was the most frothy year in terms of a conversation, certainly on the first day, when there
Absolutely.
was a great deal of conversation about uncertainty and tariffs and the deglobalization process that the world seems to be going through, and where demand's going to come from in the next 12, 24 foreseeable future in the months to come. Now, there's always uncertainty, but it's how much of this will ripple through, how quickly. It's today, I believe, or yesterday was the 70th day of the Trump administration. Not even 100 days. 100 days is the usual
That's
cut-off, isn't it, where people reassess.
That's like when people want to get an idea of like, okay, first 100 days in, let's see where things stand, what's been done so far, and what's on the agenda now.
And is it true to say that not so much is done in that first 100 days in most administrations? This one, it's been rocket-fueled.
Absolutely. Executive order after executive order. And, some of those are going through, some of them are being challenged in courts and appealed. And so it's, even if they're out, there's questions of what actually is going to go into full effect.
It's a different system in Europe, in the United Kingdom, where I'm from. In terms of European business in the hotel industry, there's a lot of talk about where that demand's going to come from, as I said.
Mhm.
China is going to be fully back by the end of the year, or considerably back. Where are they going to go? Will they boycott the States because of tit for tat animosity? Will they come back to Europe, to the grand cities, to Paris, to Athens, to Rome, etc.? Or will they, as they have been for the last 5 years, or since the end of COVID, stay in Southeast Asia or even domestically in China? There's a lot of hope that they'll come back to Europe. There's also opportunity in Europe for the international brands to bolt on portfolios, convert independent hotels. Conversions are still the order of the game. There's a great deal of leasing moving through Europe at the moment. So for hoteliers, backed by strong demand to travel and also an increase in wealth, is certainly at the top end of things, I think it's going to be a good year. It has its challenges, but what year doesn't?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was picking up, just from panel discussions as well as from individual interviews I had with some executives today. Just there's a lot of runway for them. Headwinds, of course, economic concerns, tariff related and not, just inflation in general, but there's the expectation people are going to want to travel, and Europe, in multiple countries and destinations across Europe, are still highly desirable destinations to go to. People from the US are probably still going to go to Europe, even if they don't get that return in inbound travel. And as you pointed out, expectations are, if Chinese outbound travel comes back even close to what it had been pre-pandemic, Europe may be a highly desirable place for them.
In the United Kingdom, there has been an increase in the defence spending in the last few days. Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, 2.5% of GDP will go into defence spending. And the reason I bring that up is there are also money that's needed to be saved in the United Kingdom. And that's coming out of welfare, it's coming out of programs, it's coming out of things that might allow people to travel on the lower end of a scale, but still able to travel And the reason they're doing this for British government is directly because of Trump. They're, they don't want the tariffs. They're bending over backwards for Donald at the moment. I wonder if that has always been a bit of a problem in England the last few years in terms of discernible income, in terms of the cost of living crisis in some sectors of British society. It's always worried me a little bit, but mostly for the hotel companies, mid-scale, upscale, luxury, they're not going to be affected by that. But it all kind of plays into this era or this month of uncertainty, which business dislikes intensely, of course.
Yeah, businesses like things to be stable. I mean, even in the worst of times, there are opportunities for businesses to make money, but that's more of a win-lose situation. Whereas if things are relatively stable and things are calm, that gives a chance for everyone to have a chance to win there. And along with businesses like things being stable, consumers like feeling comfortable that if they're spending money, that it's not going to end up coming back to bite them months later, through job loss or something like that. So if they feel economically stable, then they're more likely to feel comfortable booking a trip, months in advance.
There's a great deal of talk today also about alternative lodging concepts. A lot of branded resi coming through Europe. Also, a lot of partnerships with luxury products, be it automotive or retail. I think we're going to see a bit more of that as a definite notion through Europe. You might have already seen it in the United States of not only wanting those experiences, but actually owning a part of those experiences. So there's a lot of, there was actually even a standalone section of IHIF this year on that. Aston Martin were talking, Delano were talking branded residencies, retail, automotive, as I said. So we might see more of that, just sort of a way of diversifying the revenue streams for hoteliers, fees, licenses, and all that kind of mumbo jumbo. But it seems to be something that's on the increase over here.
Sounds good. Well, Terence, I think that's going to do it for us here. Thanks all of you for listening to our brief check-in here at the IHIF conference, and stick with Hotel News Now for further coverage.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm STR's Isaac Colazo.
And I'm co-stars Jan Freitag. And together we are the data geeks behind Tell Me More, a hospitality data podcast on the Hotel News Now podcast network.
Every month, we bring you a fresh take on the latest hotel data, insights into the travel trends behind that performance, and the big picture topics you should be thinking about.
And we also don't mind getting into some good-natured disagreement from time to time. Hey, when Isaac and I start talking data together, anything can happen. And it usually does.
Find us on hotelnewsnow.com and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Search for Hotel News Now, and thank you for listening.